Mr. President.
The Senator from Washington.
Mr. President, I rise today in support of the nomination of Michael Whitaker to be the Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration. Last week, the Commerce Committee unanimously advanced Mr. Whitaker to the Senate floor, and this resounding bipartisan approval is in addition to the broad support that Mr. Whitaker has received from the private sector. He has the support of the aviation workforce, pilots, flight attendants, machinists, air traffic controllers, and safety specialists at the FAA. Aviation safety advocates like the 737 MAX crash families have called Mr. Whitaker a strong leader for the FAA, with the ability to, quote, restore public trust and confidence in the oversight and safety standards, end quote. The conclusion is clear. Mr. Whitaker is the right person to lead the FAA, and America's chief aviation regulator has a critical mission: protect the safety of the flying public. Each day, 44,000 FAA employees oversee the safety of 25,000 daily commercial flights, 2.5 million travelers, and over 5,500 airports. These agencies set the safety standard for aerospace manufacturing, and safety starts at the top with the administrator. America's aviation system is under stress given the changes to FAA and the innovation that we are seeing in new technology. We have challenges in the post-pandemic rebound of air travel and making sure that we have a workforce. And the FAA's workforce, I know that Mr. Whitaker in his confirmation hearing committed to making this a #1 priority. Build a strong safety culture, attract new talent, and keep pace with technology transformation. Mr. Whitaker must build an organization that meets the challenges of incorporating new users and technologies like drones and advanced air mobility, electric propulsion in commercial space, and just the continued growth of the busy aviation aerospace around the globe. Among the most pressing problems is addressing the air traffic controller hiring and training, and Mr. Whitaker has stated this will also be a top priority. Finally, the FAA must be among the global leaders in aviation safety. Mr. Whitaker must work internationally at the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, and through bilateral partnerships to lift the baseline for aviation safety regulation throughout the world. This work of rebuilding leadership starts here at the FAA, and he's committed to implementing the critical safety reforms that were part of the Aircraft Certification, Safety, and Accountability Act. These are strong challenges, but no doubt this administrator can meet those challenges and live up to these commitments. I am confident that Mr. Whitaker's abilities will make sure that this legislation is fully implemented. In addition, Mr. President, yesterday, the President of the United States and the Secretary of Commerce announced a series of tech hubs in response to the legislation that we passed, the CHIPS and Science Act. I know the presiding officer, I think, is pretty happy about that because I think one of those tech hubs was in his state. And certainly there was one in Washington that is really about the next generation of advanced materials in aviation. The designation made possible by CHIPS and Science is to think about lab-to-market test beds on thermoplastic composite fabrication equipment and help the United States stay in a leadership position in the next generation of aerospace workforce. The U.S. leads in ideas, but we don't always lead in the implementation of the innovation, particularly at a time where now everyone in an internet age is reading about our innovations and trying to implement the same things. The Tech Hub idea can leverage a lot of ideas across the United States and help translate the science faster into real application and real competitiveness for our nation and grow jobs and help grow actually rising incomes in various parts of our country as well. The Tech Hub, in this instance, in the aerospace ecosystem, where we have millions of people employed nationally, and we have leading institutions that are doing aviation research, we need to show that innovation can move beyond just where we are today on composites but on next-generation research that then gets translated to the workforce and the skilling of the workforce. This means creating more patents, translating discoveries, and keeping U.S. manufacturing competitive. I know that many of my colleagues here in the Senate were very pleased to hear this announcement by the President and the Secretary of Commerce. With over 30 years of diverse experience in these issues, like aviation, Mr. Whitaker will be able to help, I think, in this next generation aviation technology, thermoplastics. This also is important for our space companies who want to get into a more rapid production of thermoplastic piece part production, and I think this kind of R&D alliance will help for the future. So, Mr. President, I thank our colleagues for the time today. I hope they will support Mr. Whitaker. I hope that we will move quickly on this nomination, and I hope that it will give us a chance to have an FAA administrator who will also help us move quickly to resolve the FAA authorization issues and get that authorization before both bodies before the end of the year. I thank the President, and I yield.